Hey guys, welcome to my channel. 8.3 just dropped this week, and besides the 20% Icelands buff, not much has changed for mages so far. Does this mean no Icelands build is not good anymore? Is it still valid? Your question about no Icelands under my videos are bringing this guy to life, so let's get to it. First of all, I played no Icelands Frost Mage build for the last 2 tiers in Progress Mythic Rating for Cutting Edge and in Mythic Plus for up to plus 20 keys. You can find dungeon videos on my channel, and I'm streaming live every Monday, Wednesday and Sunday evening on Twitch TV/ICVan. Let us have a look at the pros and cons for no Icelands build. Icelands build itself is a special way of playing the Frost Mage like Frozen Orb build or normal Shatter build, and it changes the way to play certain mechanics. We will talk about that in the rotation section, but it is a very simple rotation. You can hear a lot of disparaging voices in the community about 2-button classes, but an easy rotation is not a bad thing to have, as long as you can make good damage with it. You have a lot of capacities to watch out for other things like interrupts, for example. Your single target DPS as a no Icelands mage is great, and especially in heavy cleave fights you can have a lot of fun with splitting ice. In general, you have a very good consistent cleave damage on smaller pulls. But your problem is the build up time. You need those icicles and brain freeze procs to really start your damage, so Glacial Spike is like this one friend coming late to the party but then really rocks it. Your overall damage distribution will be heavily focused on your Glacial Spike, and therefore you are a living turret and you have to learn a good shimmer gameplay. Compared to Orb build or even Fire Mage, your scaling with very big pulls is kinda bad. What do we need to get started with no Icelands build? Everything in this build is about enhancing Glacial Spikes, so 3 times Flash Freeze Azerite trait is very important, and you should avoid traits that enhance your Iceland's damage, of course. Getting the right stats is also important, since Mastery will boost your damage on this build. It is enhancing damage from icicles in a way that using and shattering Icelands like in the normal build is a damage loss, because you can cast your next Frostbolt instead and getting on your way to your next Glacial Spike. Getting the right stat weights is often very confusing, and I get this question in my stream a lot. If I sim myself, why am I getting Critical Strike as best stat and not Mastery? What am I doing wrong? This is because of Raidbot's way of simming your mage. It will sim you as a normal Shattering Frost Mage, and you have to tell them what you really want. Use the custom APL box at the end of the sim page and enter this line to the box. Now Raidbots will give you the right stat weights. Talents are pretty much straightforward. Bone Chilling, Shimmer, Incantus Flow is boosting your damage consistently over the whole combat time. Frozen Touch or Ebon Bolt are both valid. Frozen Touch slightly ahead on sims, but Ebon Bolt with on-demand Brain Freeze. Frigid Winds or Ring of Frost, depending on the dungeon. And Splitting Ice, and of course Glacial Spike. Essence-wise, I'm going with Condensed Life Force, Memory of Lucid Dreams, Focusing Iris, and Breath of Dying for single target damage, and Iris, Memory, Purification Protocol, and Breath of Dying for more AoE approach. Corruption Gear is very fresh, and we will see some changes here, I guess, so in general Infinite Star and Echoing Void, Twilight Devastation as well, looking very good. But as always, sim yourself with a custom APL to get the best combinations for you. This is always a safe bet. Now it's time for the rotation. I told you it's a very easy rotation, and the opener is pretty much the same as your normal gameplay. Shattering your Glacial Spike is important, so let's talk about Shattering first, since it is a vital core mechanic of Frost Mage rotation. You build up your icicle resources with casting Frost Bolts, and now and then you get a Brain Freeze proc, which makes your Flurry cast instant. You want to use this instant Flurry cast to your advantage and shatter your spells with it. You can shatter a lot of spells like Frost Bolts, Icelands or Glacial Spike. Everything that has a traveling time from cast to impact on your enemy. You want to end your cast of, for example, Glacial Spike and use your instant flurry with Brain Freeze proc at the end of your cast. This way, your flurry hits your target because it's instant, while your Glacial Spike is still on its way and gets the full effect of your frozen effect applied by flurry. Overall, you need to stick to certain rules, which are: do not use Ice Lance after shattering with flurry. You will do this in normal shatter gameplay, but not with no Ice Lance build. Getting a global cooldown because of Ice Lance is not worth it. Since 8.3, we got a plus 20% Ice Lance buff, and you can use Ice Lances with Fingers of Frost when there are 2+ targets for splitting ice. Brain Freeze procs are for Glacial Spikes only. Don't use them on any other spell. If you play with Ebon Bolt, only use it to get Brain Freeze procs for your Glacial Spike. And only cast Glacial Spike with Brain Freeze procs, even in cleave situations. You want it to crit. Let's get to the opener and rotation. Precast your Frost Bolts at like 2.5 seconds before the fight starts. Then you use Condensed Life Force and Icy Veins for the haste buff. Now build up your procs and icicles with Frost Bolts. If everything is ready, Glacial Spike and shatter it with Brain Freezed Flurry. And from here you go again, casting Frost Bolts and building up your stuff. Yes, that's it. This way you get the maximum amount of critical Glacial Spikes in a fight. If there are 2+ enemies in splitting range, or you have to move, you can use your Ice Lances with Fingers of Frost. On even more targets, Frozen Orb and Blizzard needs to be cast as often as possible, because those two are your only spells with open scaling for bigger pulls. And some tips and tricks for Mythic Plus. As no Ice Lance mage, you need to be aware of your role in the crew. Scaling badly with bigger pulls is only a problem for very high keys like 20+, where you have to get some time out of your root and pulls. But for chain pulling you can be a workhorse, dealing very good DPS to focus targets. ABC, always be casting, is a general rule for all casters, and especially for you because you don't use a lot of instant casts. On weeks with affixes that needs you to kill trash at the same time, like Bolstering or Sanguine, your Glacial Spike can become a great equalizer of target health values. And don't forget your utility. Your Water Elemental Pet Nova can be used to shatter your Glacial Spike instead of using Brain Freeze, and use Brain Freeze to faster build up your next 5 icicles. Delaying your Glacial Spike is a bad idea because you lose a lot of DPS this way, but DPS is not everything. Sometimes you want this big hitting Glacial Spike at the right time to counter a mechanic. You can Glacial Spike and freeze Ataldazar's Juggernauts and counter their charge if your Nova is on cooldown. Or you can save Glacial Spikes for Gorak Tool, the last boss in Wakerest Manor, to split big damage to boss and his summoned adds. With a cooldown of 24 seconds on counterspell, you are in a supporting role for interrupts, and you need to be aware of the spells that can be dangerous for your group. Be ready to step in if your melee mates are getting out of interrupts and they need your help. Your slow effects can help a lot if tanks need to reset their necrotic stacks on certain weeks. There are dozens of ways to improve your group's gameplay with no Ice Lance build. I really hope you liked this videos, guys. Hit that subscribe button and the bell if you want to see more videos about 8.3 dungeons and raids. Don't forget, we are streaming on every Monday, Wednesday and Sunday evenings on twitch.tv/icyvan. See you there or in the comments down below. Stay frosty and as always, peace and out.